Politico has published a story, Putin's plot to get Texas to secede, where they detail how Kremlin trolls, they've been tweeting out free Texas. Now this comes after Nathan Smith, who calls himself the foreign minister of the nationalist Texas movement. He was seen last year in St. Petersburg, Russia at a neo-Nazi conference. Smith, who's a fringe wingnut, he was touted in the Russian media as more mainstream than he actually is, particularly in the Russian newspapers Lahad. Now, critics say that their fascination with Texas secessionist, it's a part of a payback scheme for the U.S. involvement in Crimea's secession. Now, Jose, I don't know what their motivation is. Maybe they're just being Russian for all I know. But this article was published in Politico magazine, and it has to be taken seriously. You know, really mainstream political paper we're talking about here, not a fringe story. And for them to tout this and saying Putin is trying to get Texas to secede, that's a big deal in and of itself.
I think Putin is very, very clever at looking where there's any instability in the country, and he probably, you know, in the PR world, in the PR war, on the public opinion, this is a great opportunity for them to create some unrest in the population in a non-existent crisis, really, because the reality is that that's an impossibility to happen in the States.
Right. Well, the Politico reporter that wrote this article, Casey Mitchell, she's comparing Sputnik, which is an arm of the Kremlin, much like RT. Sputnik is done in English. It's a new wire service that the Kremlin is putting out. And here's what she had to say about specifically Texas secession and Putin's involvement. Russian state media, of course, took to Crimea as Texas, that analogy, and sprinted off with it. According to Sputnik, the ballot by bayonet referendum in Crimea says it's historical precedent in Texas. If one accepts the current status of Texas, despite its controversial origin story, then they will be more obliged to recognize the future status of Crimea. So Sputnik, you know, trying to spin this story the best way that they can, taking this fringe wingnut, Nathan Smith, and saying, look, all of Texas, they want to secede, trying to stick it in the U.S. for what we did with Crimea.
It goes to show that today the opinion in social media is as valuable as maybe injecting cash into a cause. You know, if we see that Russia is proof, there is proof that they're putting money into the hands of these organizations or lending support or ideology, then there's a real threat. But I think they are cashing in on the value of having the social media sphere talking about this and just creating a false alarm that, you know, is really nothing to be very concerned about in the short term.
I mean, unless people don't know the difference, let's hope that they do. You've got this troll army out tweeting about Texas, and none of them are even here in the United States. I mean, talk about propaganda at its best. This is definitely, by definition, propaganda. We'd love to know what you think about this story. Is Texas going to secede, and what is Putin's involvement in it? Please log on, post your comments below about this. While you're at it, be sure and subscribe to our channel, The Lip TV 2.